UFC Vegas 104. We got Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze 2. And this is the full card breakdown. My name is Young Pasty, aka the White Boy Wonder, the whitest in the land. And I'm here to give you a pick for every single fight on the card. Now, as we always do, got to recap last week. And we'll head over here and we'll do it real quick. We went 8-2 on the picks. Not too bad. UFC 313 did us right. So came through with a couple of underdogs. However, Pereira, Santos did not come through for us. I do think that they won those fights, however. And I think everyone and their mama can agree Myron Santos came away with a robbery there. I think Francis Marshall did win that fight. However, if you saw my bets video and saw the leans, I said take Francis Marshall plus 3.5 on the scorecards. That hit with Myron Santos hitting as well. So, at the end of the day, 8-2 on the picks overall for the year. We are 58-34. So, let's roll this good momentum into this week with a card that, I mean, it's hard to follow up, a pay-per-view like that. There are some okay fights on this card, but, ultimately it's just okay. But I'm not going to, I can't complain. We got fights on a Saturday to watch. So, before we begin, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, comment, share. Support goes a long way. Also, Patreon. It's free. Links in the description. That's where I put all of my bets in when I place them. That's where you can see them before the bets video drops on Wednesday. Get the odds while they're good. So, here we go. Let's roll into it. UFC Vegas 104. The main event. Excited for this fight, though. This is going to be a good fight, even though it's a rematch. They're moving it into a 5-round fight, and I'm excited for it. We got Marvin Vettori, the Italian Dream, versus Roman Dolidze, the Caucasian. Look, that's his nickname. You see it right there. Now, look. Kind of take offense to that. Right? Anywho. My pick for the fight is going to be Roman Dolidze. Now, I understand he technically lost the first fight. Now, I rewatched the fight. I think he won. I watched it live. I rewatched it. I think he won the first fight. I think he won. Round 1 and 3 definitely went to Dolidze. Vettori definitely took round 2. I'm not going to take that away from him, but I thought round 1 and 3 clearly went to Dolidze. With all the volume and the power strikes that he threw. But now we got it in a 5-round fight. And my reasoning for Dolidze is because he's got a little bit of momentum going on right here. Okay? 2 wins. Granted, it's Anthony Smith and Kevin Holland, not the greatest competition in this division. And a 5-round loss to Nasruddin Imavov. However, Marvin Vettori not coming off a lot of good momentum. He had the win over Dolidze a year, almost 2 years ago, and then a decision loss to Jared Cannonier. He really hasn't fought too much, while Roman Dolidze is over here active 5 months ago, 8 months ago, a year and a month ago. So Dolidze is seeing a lot more action in the octagon. So a lot more active. Now, if you guys watch the first fight, Roman Dolidze, I think he exhausted too much of his gas tank in the first round, and that's why you saw Marvin Vettori take the second round. Because he was kind of getting worked in the second round. But nevertheless, I like his forward pressure. He has decent boxing. He's a tough dude. Okay? Now, both of these guys are tough. Vettori's tough. Roman Dolidze is tough. They can both take a good punch. They have nice chins. Obviously, they went the full distance with each other. Dolidze went 5 rounds with Imavov. Vettori went 5 rounds with Cannonier. So these guys are tough. Okay? And my expectation is to see this go at least past the 3rd round. Maybe a later round knockout from whoever grinds it out. In my opinion, it's going to be Dolidze, right? But ultimately, I think Dolidze will take it by decision. He needs to do something to avoid these leg kicks, though, right? Every single fight, he's taking these leg kicks. People are chopping it up, and it stags his movement, and that's not good against a guy who like Vettori here. And secondly, he's just defensively careless at some times. You know how people get in the brawl, in those little brawls and exchanges, and they let their guards down. You know, that tends to happen a lot with Dolidze. He leaves his chin exposed. He's just, you know, sometimes his hands go low. He stands high like this. Vettori's kind of, you know, stands low, knees a little bent, kind of punches up towards Dolidze because he's a little smaller. Odds on the fight, by the way, plus 120 for Dolidze, minus 140 for Vettori. Dolidze, the slight underdog. But I gotta give Vettori credit where it's due as well, right? He has okay power. He's younger, technically. What, 4 or 5 years younger? 5 years younger than Dolidze. Decent volume. All right, I like the volume. He's tough. He has a lot more 5-round experience than Dolidze when it comes to UFC. Going 5 rounds with, you know, Alex Pereira, Izzy Adesanya at one point. Nevertheless, I think Dolidze can pull out this decision win. I think he gets the more powerful and, you know, more notable moments in the fight. I think he can pull out a hard-fought decision. I think he gets 3 or 4 rounds on the scorecards. Give me Dolidze by decision for the main event here. What's Tapology say? What do the folks have to say about this? Oh, Dolidze training at Extreme Couture or something to I like as well. Wow. All right, everyone's siding with Vettori by decision. I'm on the other side here. I think he won the first fight. I think he's more tough. I think he's more durable, has a better gas tank. Yeah, I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. Now, generally, the rematch usually goes to the person that won the first one, but that's not always the case, right? We saw it, you know, with Izzy and Adesanya. Oh my God, we saw it with Izzy and Alex Pereira, right? Pereira took the rematch, so it's like you never know. Moving on to the co-main event. It's all right. I wish I could, you know, submit my opinion on the lineups of these fights here because I think there's a couple of other fights that would have been better suited for the co-main event. But nevertheless, here we are. We have Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos versus Chidi Njokuani. Capoeira versus Chidi Bang Bang. Odds on the fight, where are they sitting? Plus 150 for Chidi and minus 180 for Zaleski. Pick for the fight is going to be Zaleski. Give me the Brazilian vet here. Now, both of these guys are vets. Okay. But when it comes to toughness, durability, skill, power, I got to give it to Zaleski in all those facets and factors, man. I got to give it to him. Oh, Chidi's coming off 2 wins. Don't get it twisted. Jared Gooden by decision. Reese McKee by split decision. Then 3 losses here by this bum. This bum and RoboCop. Hard to grief you for that one. But anyway, Zaleski pulling off some wins here, right? Against BSD 3 years ago. Against a Nurmagomedov. A draw against Renat. I think he won that fight. Lost to Randy Brown, although he looked very tough, and some say he could have won that fight in some opinions. Nevertheless, he looked really tough, and it was still good performance. And comes out and gets a KO on this guy who comes in on short notice. Anywho, he has better. I think he has more and better momentum than Zaleski, or than Chidi here. Chidi, I mean, he's just, you know, he's older, even though he's younger here. He's just meh. He was a Bellator guy. Yeah, he's got a slight reach advantage. What? 7 inches? Okay, slight. Pretty heavy with the reach advantages there. But, you know, overall, he's just mid, right? I think he's just a point fighter, man. He has decent kicks. He has the range advantage. But I think Zaleski's going to be able to close distance. He has much more power. He's going to, you know, close the distance, get better shots off on Chidi. Maybe even chin him. Chin the Chidi. You never know. But I like the forward pressure from Zaleski. He has decent wrestling. I think he has better fights in the UFC and better experience than Chidi does. He can dig deep. He has good cardio. And you see it here. It's from Brazil, man. You know I got a thing for Brazilians. Give me Zaleski. Give me Zaleski by KO. Give me Zaleski by KO. Second or third round. What do the people gotta say? Whew. Zaleski. Everyone's pretty much on Zaleski. We got 80-20 here. 67.9 by decision. 29.3 by KO. 2.9 by submission. I do not see Zaleski getting KO'd here. No, not at all, man. Zaleski's too tough. He has a good chin. Yeah, Chidi has the reach advantage, man, but Zaleski will close distance with his pressure and the strikes. You'll see Chidi running around the octagon and eventually get pinned up on the fence and have to eat some shots until he's able to escape and run out. Or, not and get KO and get beat up, clinched on the fence. Yeah, Zaleski by KO. Elbows or just a nice straight to the face, I think. We move on. Would I agree that this should be on the main? I mean, should I agree this is on the main card? No, but here we are. A lot of these fights, man, it's just like they're so mid, to be honest with you. But again, like I said, we got some fist fights. Can't be complaining here. We have, excuse me, Kevin Vallejos versus SeungWoo Choi. El Chino versus Sting. Odds on the fight here. We got minus 450 for Kevin Vallejos and plus 325 for SeungWoo Choi. My pick for this fight is going to be Kevin Vallejos. Yeah. I know the reach advantage is crazy here too. 7.5 inch reach advantage here. However, you see all these losses here from SeungWoo Choi, and they don't look good. Alex Caceres, Josh Holobaugh, Michael Trezano, Steve Garcia. Okay, that guy's on a roll. A win over Jarno Aarons, who's garbage. Kevin Vallejos, Dana White Contender Series guy. First fight in the UFC. This is his UFC debut. Gets a win over Cam Teague in the Contender Series. Has a decent amount of experience prior to the UFC. Look, we'll give credit where it's due to Vallejos. Nice forward pressure. His first loss and his only loss is to Gene Silva. And he went the full 3 rounds with him, which you've seen what Gene Silva did. Right when Gene Silva got into the freaking UFC, it's all KOs. So give credit where it's due. Kevin Vallejos, that means he's tough. He has a good chin. He has good combos, works body shots, has nice leg kicks, mixes in takedowns frequently, has really good KO power. And I think he's just going to be able to close the distance with SeungWoo Choi. He doesn't use his reach advantage too well. He's chinny. He's inactive. He fights once a year. He's a little bit older. I mean, his kicks are his best weapon, okay? SeungWoo Choi does have some pretty nice body kicks, legs to the head, okay? So I'll give him that. And he is the taller guy here. But he's so hittable. He's so freaking hittable. He's 1-4 in the last 5. He has no notable UFC wins. None. Whatsoever. He's always on his back foot getting pressured. What's Kevin Vallejos do? Coming forward with the pressure. What do we ultimately see with those? SeungWoo Choi is not good at countering. It's not going to go too well. Kevin Vallejos is hot in the first round. He's active. He's younger. He can dig deep. He has good cardio. We see it. He went 3 rounds with Gene Silva. He has pretty decent movement too. The minus 450 is crazy, but at the end of the day, the pick is Kevin Vallejos. I say he chins him, man. I say he chins him. Kevin Vallejos by KO. Ha ha. Everyone and their mama says the same thing. So, I think SeungWoo Choi's time in the UFC is up here, unless he pulls off a big upset. Even if he pulls off a big upset, Is this enough to keep him in the UFC? Right? A prospect, their UFC debut. You'd have to be really freaking impressive, you know what I mean? So, I think SeungWoo Choi's on his way out. Give me Kevin Vallejos by KO. Sip the water and move on. Oh man, we got some cream of the crop, top tier fights here, guys. Next fight, we have Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holobaugh. The Great Ape versus the Hurt. Odds in the fight here. Minus 190 for Hernandez, plus 155 for Kurt. Old man Kurt. Yeah, my pick for the fight here is wildly going to be Kurt Holobaugh. I'm going with the underdog. And why? It's because I don't trust Alexander Hernandez one bit whatsoever. He is mid at best. He loses to good competition and beats bums. So Kurt Holobaugh may be on that list because he's not really the best competition, but I think Holobaugh can get the best of him. Right? Hernandez's chin is meh. His striking is meh. His clinch work is meh. He's mostly a striker. He does okay to it, but he succumbs to forward pressure, and I don't like that. I don't like that whatsoever. Kurt Holobaugh, this is his second stint in the UFC. I think he has a little more motivation to get wins and pull those off than Alexander Hernandez does, being 38 here. But let's just say his ground game sucks. Anybody that's able to take him down will take him down and keep him down for most of the round and beat the crap out of him. He may be able to get up for, maybe the last 15, 20 seconds of the round. But even then, not really. So I don't really have that concern in this fight because Alexander Hernandez is not the one to be shooting, takedowns or wrestling really too much. So I'm not really worried about this. This is going to be a striking affair here for sure. Disregarding the bad takedown defense and bad get-up game and sprawls from Kurt Holobaugh, he does have decent striking and combos. I like his forward pressure. He's tough, but he's hittable, man. He's very hittable. I think this comes down to a dirty, gritty split decision. I think we have some judges swaying the way in Kurt Holobaugh's side. I don't know. Gives me weird vibes. I don't know. I just don't see Alexander Hernandez coming out here and putting on a great performance, dominating Kurt Holobaugh. Given the fact that we'll go through his fight history, he went to split decision with Austin Hubbard, and I think Austin Hubbard actually pulled that off. Losing to Damon Jackson, losing to Bill Algeo, beating an old Jim Miller. You see what I'm saying here? Losing to Billy Q by KO? It's just like, your fight history is not looking too great, buddy. You know what I mean? And you're the favorite here? Why? Because Kurt Holobaugh is 38? Don't give me that, man. Damon Jackson was old too. Kurt Holobaugh's a little bit taller. However, Hernandez with a slight reach advantage. Yeah, man. I got Kurt Holobaugh by a gritty, dirty split decision. I think he gets the more powerful and hittable moments. I think he ends up maybe cutting Hernandez somewhere, and when you see the looks at the end of the fight, I think Hernandez is going to have more beat up face than Holobaugh. So I think he has a better movement and can avoid Hernandez's okay shots coming his way. Or he could surprise the crap out of me, and you could see a Hernandez first round KO. I just don't fucking see it though. You're going to decision with Trey Ogden. He's pretty tough. He beat Austin Hubbard and actually beat him by sub. And then, this is a second stint in the UFC. Beat this scrub here. Don't put any stock into that. But yeah, I got Kurt Holobaugh by decision. What do the people say with me? Oh, man. Why you down my boy? Okay, 73% of people on Hernandez. I'm on the other side here with Holobaugh at 27%. And everyone's saying by decision. Yeah. Not necessarily a fight I might be betting on, but at the end of the day, I think Kurt Holobaugh gets it done by a dirty, gritty split decision. So, Moving on. Okay, we got, what, 6 fights on the main card? Okay, 6 fights on the main card here. This one's actually not too shabby, guys. This one I'm semi-excited for. Mainly because my boy Damon Blackshear is fighting. We got Damon Blackshear, the Monster, versus Cody Gibson, the Renegade. Odds on the fight, what are we looking at here? Yeah, Damon usually heavy favorite, minus 400 here for Damon, and plus 310 for Cody Gibson. I'm over here hyping up my boy Damon. I gotta pick him. Damon Blackshear is the pick for this fight. I had to think about it for a little bit, however, because Cody Gibson did pull off a couple of good wins here, and he looked pretty good in them. It's the submission against Brian Keller, and then a pretty dominant decision over Chad Anheliger. However, he's always kind of had this reach advantage over people, and not going to have that here with Damon, right? Same height, same reach. Give the 1 inch to Damon. I don't really consider that an advantage too much. But yeah, Damon Blackshear. This guy's tough. He has great movement, decent striking, excellent submissions. All right, pulled off some crazy ones as we've seen in the past. And he's not losing to bums. He's losing to good competition. He's the younger fighter. He has good cardio. He's fit. He's tough. When he does get people to the ground, and he usually does, with his trips and great takedown game. Awesome top control, nice ground and pound. You'll see those elbows coming out in the clinch and when he gets onto the ground in the mat. Yeah, Damon's a force to be reckoned with. I like him, man. You'll see him. And I like his activity too. He tries to stay active. Fought twice in 2 weeks. So go over his fight history. Beat a tough Cody Stammen. Look, yeah. He got absolutely obliterated and demolished by Montel Jackson. It was nasty. Lost to Mario Bautista. Tough. Went 3 rounds with him. This guy is a top contender. However, we all know how Mario Bautista is. He just freaking holds you against the cage. However, think about this, though. Mario Bautista was not able to take down Damon. Usually he's able to pretty good at that. And I don't see Cody Gibson doing that at all. Win over Jose Johnson and Luen Lasarda. So, he's losing to good competition, beating okay competition. I would say this is probably one of his more tougher fights in the UFC. Cody Gibson lost to Miles Johns and got worked on the ground by him really bad, man. Really freaking bad. Lost to a Brad Katona. So the game plan here for Damon, get Cody to the ground and pound. KO coming? I think so, man. I think Damon could get the KO here. I think he gets Cody Gibson to the ground and gets a ground and pound to Cody. Now, Cody Gibson is in a nice gym. He's a decent fighter. He's long and lanky, but not in this situation against Damon. Pretty good cardio. He likes to keep the range. We'll see Damon close that distance. He has okay movement. But really, man, the fight against Miles Johns where he got just absolutely bodied, right? Held to the ground, beat the crap out of for 3 rounds. Not a good look. Given the fact that Miles Johns is kind of fading now. So, yeah, my pick for the fight is Damon. We're going to take him by KO. We're going with the heavy favorite here. What do the people say with me? Whoa. They think by submission. I don't think so, man. I'm here with this 5%. I think he gets him to the ground and gets some nice elbows and KO, gets a ground and pound KO in. Club and sub is live. I could see that. Damon Blackshear by KO or /sub. Something to look at. Yeah, end of the day. Or, just freaking Damon inside the distance. Yeah, so Blackshear's the pick. Going with the heavy favorite. Not a lot of people on Gibson. Only 11%. So, we move on to the last fight on the main card. And look, we got some more elite fighting competitions here, right? Look at this bout. SuYoung You, Jiu-Jitsu, okay, versus AJ Cunningham, the Savage. Odds on the fight. Look at this shit, guys. Minus 700 for SuYoung You and plus 500 for AJ Cunningham. Now I'll just start it off with my pick. My pick for the fight is SuYoung You. Now, these guys this is not the best competition in the world, right? This fight is this is some low-level MMA fighting here. Yeah, that's a win on the UFC, but that's a championship fight for the road to the UFC. You know, I mean, have you guys seen these road to the UFC people? They are trash. SuYoung You won a decision over this Zaleski. I mean, he worked him. He looked pretty good. But I mean, the level of competition you're going up against in the road to the UFC is garbage, dude. Straight trash. AJ Cunningham on the other side, also not very good, right? You know, bounced around in different promotions. Ultimately gets onto the, you know, Dana White Contender Series. Loses by KO to Steve Wen. Where is he? Okay, goes out back into regional scene, gets a KO, comes back, loses to Ludovic Klein. And let me just say this. You didn't look great in the Steve Wen fight. You looked awful in the Ludovic Klein fight. I mean, this AJ Cunningham, man. Not really good, right? How do you have a contract? You lost on Dana White You lost on Contender Series twice. How do you have a contract? You don't look good in these. You're getting knocked the fuck out. I don't know where. I think this is what's happening here. They're like, oh, this road to the UFC guy. I mean, you know, they've been really bad lately. Let's get him a scrub to beat up. That way we can make him look good. That's what I think's happening here, to be honest with you. AJ Cunningham, he has decent speed. He has okay combo, and he does work the body. But he's only really good for the first round. Gasses out after the first round. Honestly, after the first 3 minutes. After that, I mean, even prior to that, dude's super hittable. Keeps his hands super low. Obviously, he's chinny against good competition. Bad cardio, not very technical. Fight IQ is bad. So, SuYoung You on the other side. Let's go over what he can do. I mean, he has good movement. He has good cardio. We've seen him go to the decision. He looked good. He wasn't huffing and puffing in the last 3 rounds. AJ Cunningham getting into the second round on one of those Contender Series fights looked awful. He was barely there. He was about to get knocked out in the first round, actually. But, yeah, SuYoung, good movement, nice cardio. He has decent striking. He's tough. He's jacked. He's really jacked, actually. Like, are you on some type of enhancement jacked? Looking to me. He's muscular as fuck, that's what I'm saying. But he mixes in takedowns. He has nice clinch work. He has decent striking. I think he does enough to take out AJ Cunningham. I mean, second, third round KO. I think he finds a shot. AJ Cunningham just is not good, man. Is not good at all. Sure, you're a nice guy, but you're about to get taken out by this road to the UFC guy. So, minus 700 favorite. I'm not really interested whatsoever in that. So, yeah. Everyone by decision. I mean, I'd say by KO. We've seen AJ Cunningham. He can't last that long. Is it because SuYoung You doesn't have KO power? I think if you hit him so many times, he's done defending him. I mean, he's just defending himself and like holding his hands up. What's the ref gonna do? I think he gets to a stoppage by punches, not necessarily like he gets flatlined or knocked out. I just think AJ Cunningham gives up. SuYoung You by KO. Minus 700 is wild. Wild. Moving on. We're out of the main card and we go to the featured prelim bout. We have Waldo Cortes-Acosta, a.k.a. Salsa Boy. I don't know actually how to do the salsa. Versus Ryan Spann, Superman. You see the tat on the chest. Odds on the fight here, we got plus 140 for Ryan Spann and minus 175 for Waldo. Ryan Spann's first fight at heavyweight. This is a heavyweight bout, by the way. Pick on the fight is going to be Ryan Spann. I'm going with the underdog. I'm going with another underdog here. That's my third one. Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't see myself picking too many dogs, but here I am. Now, the only thing that scares me about picking Ryan Spann here is that this is his very first fight at heavyweight. He won't really have to weight cut anything. He's already big as fuck. So, you know, that's my only thing that I'm kind of about, is that it's his first fight at heavyweight. But this Waldo Cortes-Acosta guy, let me just say this. He has beaten nothing but scrubs in the UFC, and also lost to one who doesn't, isn't even fighting anymore. Dude, look at his fight history. Beat a Bellis to Spain who can hit hard, but has no wrestling whatsoever. Ryan Spann has pretty good wrestling and some live and deadly submission threats. So Bellis to Spain doesn't offer any of that. Andrei Arlovsky, this guy's old as hell. Lucas Brzeski, and you went to decision with him, by the way. Lucas Brzeski, garbage. Your loss to Marcos Rogreiro de Lima, he's out of the UFC. He's not even fighting anymore. Chase Sherman, garbage, and you're taking him by decision. Waldo Cortes, his style is like a grinding style, right? Get you up against the cage, hold you, put you down on the ground, top control, punches here and there, do enough for the ref to not get you and split you apart. That's what he does, man. He tries to grind out a decision win every single time. However, he has okay striking. You saw it with Lucas Brzeski, hit him with some hooks. Nevertheless, his wins suck, and they're all by decision against bums. So his wrestling is his go-to. His striking is okay, but you compare it to Ryan Spann, Mr. Superman here. Moving up to heavyweight, doesn't have to worry about the weight cut. Looked really good in his last fight against OSP. Now, granted, it was OSP. Nevertheless, looked like he was just on point, man. Has KO power. Has a really good, not really good. Has okay ground game. Decent combos. Quick straights. That submission threat. Has a nice gilly. Has nice takedowns that he can, threaten and offer to Waldo, which Waldo really hasn't seen against any of these people, right? I think Ryan Spann can actually take Waldo down. I think Ryan Spann can get the decision win over Waldo. Waldo's tough. Okay, I'll give it to him. Waldo's tough. He didn't get knocked out by this guy. He got bodied by him for 3 rounds on the ground. But that's what scares me. This is less than 2 years ago. Ryan Spann has good takedowns. And even though, he has 3 losses here, right? He was able to get takedowns in all 3 of this fight and have ground control. Now you're doing it up against a Waldo Cortes who's proven nothing to me up to this point. And you're the favorite? Nah, man. Nah, we got Ryan Spann by decision. Ryan Spann was ranked in light heavyweight. In the top 10. Even though it's not like with elite competition up there, you find fucking Anthony Smith and shit. Nevertheless, I give Ryan Spann credit where it's due. His losses really aren't too bad, in my opinion. I mean, the Guskov one, he was winning. He won the first round till he got fucking chinned. I don't see Waldo Cortes chinning Ryan Spann. But as I was saying, this is his first fight in heavyweight, so weigh-ins are something to look at, and are something key to look at, actually. The line may go crazy after everyone sees Ryan Spann weigh in, either looking good or looking like 20 or 30 pounds less than Waldo. So, I got to see where he's coming in at, Ryan Spann by decision. What do the people say? Okay. He is live by the sub. I think he gets the decision win. People are on the Cortes-Acosta side. It is almost a 50-50 split. I mean, 58-42 here. Ryan Spann's a little taller, has a slight reach advantage. I think he's a better striker. People sleep on his ground game. His losses really aren't too bad in the UFC. Give me Ryan Spann, man. Excuse me. That was an underdog pick I was excited to talk about. We move on to this fight here. What the fuck? This bitch's name is so corny. We got Sam Hughes, a.k.a. Sam Page. Like Rampage. Versus Stepahnie Luciano, a.k.a. Rondinija. Odds on the fight here. Sam Hughes is the underdog, plus 210 and minus 260 for Luciano. My pick for this fight, I'm going with another underdog here. We're going with Sam Hughes. And yes, I would usually pick the Brazilian in these situations. You're looking at her record like, oh my gosh. Nah, man. Nah. This is Stepahnie Luciano. This is her first fight in the UFC. Right? One win over a Talita Alencar, which was a rematch. So you've basically just fought one person in the UFC. Now you're going up against a vet in Sam Hughes, who, yes, is a little bit older, but is tough, is gritty, has pretty good striking, has a great top control game. We've seen it with lots of people in the past. Now, the picture here, it's just like Stephanie's just like too girly looking, man. Like, you need to, like, these women fighters, like, they need to look, if you look really freaking manly, picking you, right? Sam Hughes got a little more manly looking fucking face. Stephanie's like, she's just a little too girly looking for the UFC, right? Your really pretty little face is gonna get beat up, all right? You have no experience that's notable to me whatsoever. You're susceptible to takedowns. Your striking is mid. You fought one person in the UFC, and it basically isn't even a UFC fight because you fought them in Dana White Contender Series. So, going with the experience, the veteran, and the underdog. I don't understand why. You're going to see, man. She's going to get an easy takedown on Stepahnie and work her for 3 rounds. Give me the over 2.5 and Sam Hughes by decision. If people are on the other side, I really don't know what y'all are seeing. Like, she's some great prospect. Like, oh, she had a draw with her, but really, beat her in the first. Like, this girl is really not it, man. And I like these Brazilians, but she's not the one. I feel like the Tapology community is going to agree with me here and see the experience of Sam Hughes, but I could be wrong. Wild. Sam Hughes is the pick. And a 2-1 underdog? Come on, man. You're going to get taught a UFC lesson, Stepahnie. Sam Hughes by decision. We move on. Oh, buddy. We have Diyar Nurgozhay versus Brendson Ribeiro, the gorilla. Odds on the fight here, we have minus 280 for Diyar and plus 220 for Brendson. My pick for this fight. Whoa. Excuse me, something came up. And it was a pick for Diyar. That is who we're going with here. Yeah. He looks a little chubby, I'm not going to lie. But, even though this is his UFC debut, he has good power. He's gone 3 and 5 rounds, which he's won. And we've seen Brendson Ribeiro's gas tank. It's awful. He has KO power. He's undefeated. Pretty good leg kicks. Now, he'd be throwing them wild overhands, which I don't like. But he has okay movement. And I will say this. This is something to note. But I'm going to tell you why I'm not concerned about it. The reach advantage is crazy. It's a 7-inch reach advantage. And I've done this on every single fight with these people that have reach advantages and they're underdogs. Actually, I think 3 of them have reach advantages and they're underdogs. Reason being, Diyar can close distance. All right? He's going to be able to close distance, and we've seen it before with Brendson Ribeiro. People can close distance on him even with the reach advantage. Brendson Ribeiro is a can, man. He is garbage. Okay? Chinny, has okay leg kicks. He does have KO power. That's why he's in the UFC. He has these flashy KOs and submissions, prior to coming into the UFC. But gas tank, bad. After the first round, he's no good. Wins against bums, losses against bums. He's only fighting bad people. I think Diyar is, at least somewhat of a good kind of little prospect to look out for here. Coming undefeated, got good KO power, good movement. He's just a little short and stubby, right? Compared to Ribeiro, who's got this huge reach advantage. But I don't think he's going to be able to capitalize on the reach that he has because his fighter IQ is in the dumps. Like, where have you gotten hit in the head too many times? I think it's apparent because I don't know what the fuck you're doing in an octagon sometimes, dude. Ming Yongzong put his lights out. Lost to a Magomed Gadzhiulov, who pieced him up. This Kyle Machado fight was just one of the worst fights I've ever seen. He could barely even breathe in the third round. Neither could Kyle Machado. I think Machado actually pulled it off, but nevertheless, they gave Ribeiro the win. And a KO to Bruno Lopez on Contender Series, where they still think he's flying high, and then comes to a reality check against these two guys. And I see it happening again here, okay? Diyar Nurgozhay is going to handle business. I got him by KO. I see Ribeiro's lights getting absolutely knocked out. The power is out, Ribeiro. Okay. Gonna have to wait overnight for the lights to come back on. Nurgozhay by KO. No one's picking Ribeiro. Nobody. Why would they? It's like, give me a reason to pick you. I can't even think of a reason to pick you. Other than your reach advantage, which you just have shown me in the past you can't capitalize on. So, Nurgozhay by KO. Moving on down. All right. The prospect Josias Musasa, the KO wizard, versus Carlos Vera, Pequeno. Odds on the fight: minus 625 for Musasa, and plus 455 for Vera. Yeah, my pick for the fight here. We're going with the KO wizard. We're going with Musasa. I want to call him Mufasa so fucking bad. Why wasn't that your last name? Why wasn't it? Anyway, Musasa's the pick. Let me tell you why. Dude is, I don't know, extremely younger than him. My gosh. 11 years younger. Carlos Vera. Somebody the UFC picked up for prospects to put on a show and beat up. Okay? One fight in the UFC, lost to Rinya Nakamura, who ultimately got fraud checked last time. Other than that, you're fighting in fucking Fury. This guy's a submission guy, right? So something to look out for is those the submissions from Carlos Vera. He has okay leg kicks, but he's just so inactive. Excuse me. He looks for the submissions if possible, but I don't see that possibility arising with Josias Musasa. Now, first fight in this here against Otari Tanzalovi. Showed a lot of grit, went 3 rounds, took a lot of damage in the first round, but ultimately took the second and the third round. Really put on with his movement, his jabs, his pressure. He puts on the pressure like crazy, and he don't get tired, right? We saw in the Contender Series fight, he has a pretty good gas tank, man. He has okay power. He's tough and can eat shots. He can get up from takedowns if taken down. He has nice 1-2s and straights. Even though it's simplistic, it works. His kicks are okay. It's just, he's a little unproven and he's raw. He's 8-0, right? Kind of saw it with Rinya Nakamura, although he took care of business, Carlos Vera. It's like sometimes you don't know with these guys coming up. But he has lots of time to learn. Dude's only 26. It's his first fight in the UFC. I like the reach advantage that he possesses here. I mean, it's only 1 inch. I think it's a couple more inches than that. I think he has... Dude, Musasa's pretty lanky. I didn't see that from Carlos Vera. You'll see it. He has a reach advantage for sure. Yeah, younger, nice movement, the constant pressure, the straights and the 1-2s against, even though they're simplistic, he just keeps putting it on. It's not like Sean Strickland volume, but it's less, a little less volume, more power and intent in his shots. So I think Josias Musasa gets it done. By KO? The odds are crazy. Minus 625. Honestly, I think that... Yeah, he went to decision with Rinya. I think, given the fact that Musasa went decision with this guy, even though that guy's pretty damn tough, I think this fight will go to decision as well, or a second round KO for Musasa. That's just what I'm feeling. Second round KO or decision. I lean towards decision. That's what I'll roll with here. And at the end of the day, the pick's still Musasa. Yeah, Musasa by KO, Musasa by decision. 93% of people on him, man. Who the fuck picking Carlos Vera? Some DGen props to look at for him is by sub. It'll be up there, probably plus 800. That's my guess. That's the only way I see him winning here. There's no way he's taking a decision or KOing Musasa. So, Musasa's the pick. We move on to the next fight. Now, this is a good fight. This one I'm pretty dang excited about here. Yeah, we got the Brazilian undefeated prospect, Andre Lima, a.k.a. Mascote, versus Daniel Barez. Odds on the fight. Lima a 3-1 favorite, sitting at minus 310. Barez at plus 245. My pick for this fight is going to be Andre Lima. Yeah, give me the victim of the bite. If you don't know what I'm talking about, his UFC debut, someone literally bit him. Bit him while he was fighting and drew blood and flesh. The end of the fight obviously gave the win to Lima. But after that, put on 2 pretty good wins against Mitch Raposo and Felipe Dos Santos. Daniel Barez is a tough customer, though, right? Andre Lima's got a lot of work cut out for him here. I think he gets this done by decision, but Daniel Barez is freaking tough, man. He is a little bit older, right? 10 years older, but he's one of these gritty guys. He has pretty decent KO power, I'm not going to lie. He puts on the pressure. He has this kind of similar style to Lima, where they are always constantly hand fighting, so it'll be interesting to see who wins that affair. I think Andre Lima will get the best of the hand fighting there and be able to pressure forward and move and get Daniel Barez on his back feet, at least for the first 2 rounds. Okay? And I like Andre Lima's cardio. We've seen it. He's gone 3 rounds, and he's still not getting, terribly backed up. But, still, Daniel Barez, I think, has a better gas tank at the end of the day than Andre Lima. Unless Lima's been working on it and will show me that he has even better cardio than he does before. He has decent cardio. Okay, he can go pretty dang good for the first 2 rounds. 3rd round, he's still there, but, sometimes it could go either way to people. Barez has these sneaky little quick leg kicks that he uses. Constant pressure, decent boxer, nice body shots and head shots. Andre Lima is going to be a little bigger than him. Daniel Barez is kind of a little shorty. He's a tad hittable. I just like Lima's chances here, man. He's undefeated. He's tough. He has nasty power and strikes. The sub threat's live on his end as well. Nice kicks to the legs and body. He'll use those a lot, especially against Barez. Nice knees. Younger and bigger. Give me Lima, man. Give me Mascote. Give me Andre Lima by decision. Everyone agrees. 7% on Barez, and he's only plus 240. That's weird, guys. But that's because Barez is live. I think the dogs. I think the books can see that. So, yeah, we got Lima by decision. Moving on. Oh, what a thriller. This should have been the co-main, right? We have Josiane Nunes, Josie, versus Priscilla Cocheria, Zombie Girl. Odds on the fight, minus 205 for Nunes, 2-1 favorite, plus 170 for Priscilla. My pick for this fight is going to be Josiane Nunes. Give me this little freaking short little girl with the longest arms I've ever seen. Look at these 5'2" and 67-inch reach. Isn't that nuts? I mean, obviously Priscilla is a little bit taller than her and has a less... I mean, dude, isn't it crazy? She just has long, lanky arms. Have you guys seen fucking Lanky Kong from Donkey Kong? That's who this girl reminds me of. It's like her arms are longer than her legs. That's what it seems like, dude. Nevertheless, I think she gets the job done. This girl is just always on the gas tank with constant pressure, always moving forward. Her signature move is this freaking overhands. These overhand strikes. She's just mauling people with these overhand strikes. She's a tiny little short girl she's a tough little bitch, man. She's a tough little bitch. And I don't think Priscilla's going to be able to take her out. We've seen Priscilla get worked and bodied by people, man. She's older. She uses forward pressure, but Josiane Nunes is going to win that battle there for sure. Priscilla's going to be on her back feet most of the fight here. Awful takedown defense, bad groundwork. If Nunes chooses to get this fight to the ground, goodbye, Priscilla. Even though Nunes, that really isn't her game. She's kind of just a striker. She's a pressure fighter. I think this fight stays standing. I think Nunes can get the best of it. Priscilla, trash. On your way out. Give me Nunes by decision. Everyone else agrees. Not really a high-profile fight that everyone's looking out to, grab their popcorn and sit down for. You know what I mean? So, we have one more fight. And it's kind of the same thing here, man. They really went to the bottom of the barrel for this fucker here. This is one of the lowest women's competitions I've ever seen in the UFC. We have Eunice Dubin versus Carly Judice. Crispy. Look at these girls' records. 6-0 and 3-2. Fucking hell, man. Odds on the fight, plus 380 for Dubin. Minus 500 for Judice. Yeah, my pick for this fight is going to be Judice. Yeah. Even though she had 2 losses in the UFC, these were tough fights against pretty good competition. So I'm really not going to knock her against these. And they were split decision losses. Even though she got freaking worked and bodied in this one. She's a tough customer and a tough cookie, man. I think Crispy can get her first win in the UFC. She's a humongous favorite. You'll be like, oh, but this girl has all these knockouts. Oh, bro, I mean, look at these girls' records, man. They're grabbing girls. They're just like, hey, you want to go get fucking knocked out in the octagon, make this girl look good? Like, you're beating people with 0-0 records. The fuck? And bouncing around all these different fucking regional Venezuelan. Like, come on. Like, it's just, come on now, man. And I watched some of them too. They suck. Like, you're fighting, like, some bum girls, Eunice. You're going to get a reality check going against Carly Judice. Fuck, dude. I think Carly Judice will put her to work. I think Carly Judice gets a freaking knockout here. I was about to flip a coin for this fight, but then I actually looked into it, and I'm like, oh, there ain't no fucking way that Carly Judice is about to lose this one. No way. Way tougher than Dubin. Dubin's just, she's slow. She has okay kicks. She has okay knees. Yeah, she won on KO by the Dana White Contender Series, but it wasn't spectacular, fantastic, or making people go crazy about her. We got Carly Judice. She's taller. She has decent kicks. She has nice jabs. Yeah, she's hittable, but she'll put in more volume and strikes on Dubin. Dubin is going to get tired. She has pretty good movement, and she has more experience in the UFC. So give me Judice by knockout. Everyone agrees. Everyone agrees. And we've come to an end here, guys, for the picks and predictions for UFC Vegas 104. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Appreciate your support. Make sure you click that subscribe and like button. Comment if you can. Throw down your thoughts and whatever you may agree or disagree on. Share the video to your friends. Let's make some freaking money this week, okay? 8-2 last week. Positive on the bets. We're going to roll this good momentum into this week, even though the card is meh and super mid. Patreon's free. Go ahead and subscribe. Links in the description. It's free. See all my bets and plays when I place them. And the bets video drops on Wednesday. So, I am out. Let's have a good week this week, guys. Take care.